Welcome to this explainer. Okay, today we are diving headfirst into an absolutely fascinating and honestly hilarious story about the crazy lengths people will go to for unearned wealth. We're going to see exactly how a continuous chain of greed and gullibility leads to a wildly escalating series of consequences. Here's how this whole wild ride breaks down. We'll be looking at 1. The family treasure scam, 2. The fake Dubai dream, 3. Bizarre desert preparations, 4. Arrival of soybean oil baba, and 5. The oil pond consequence. Let's kick things off with Section 1, the family treasure scam, a test of character. So, our story starts with a woman named Shefa. She's a daughter-in-law whose greed is about to get a major test. Her in-laws come to visit, and honestly, she treats them terribly. She's yelling, she's breaking things, just acting horribly. Well, to test her true character, the visiting parents loudly drop this completely fabricated rumor: the ancestral treasure is hidden inside the large guava in the village pond. Now seriously, take a second to appreciate the absolute absurdity of that. A priceless family treasure hidden inside a piece of floating fruit. It's ridiculous. But you know, to a mind completely blinded by greed, logic is literally the first thing out the window. What happens next is a completely 180-degree shift in Shefa's behavior, and it is astonishing. The very second she hears about this imaginary treasure, all her hostility just vanishes. It's like a light switch flips. She goes from literally fighting over a broken lipstick to practically worshiping her in-laws. She serves them roast chicken, she's eagerly giving her father-in-law foot massages, and in this brilliant twist of comedic irony, she completely ignores and alienates her own visiting mother just to secure her spot in the will. It's wild how quickly the mere illusion of wealth can make us completely abandon our actual values and relationships. All right, moving right along to Section 2, the fake Dubai dream, the master con. Having just tried to scheme her way into a fake treasure, Shefa and her husband Miska are about to face a master-level scam of their own. 1,000 taka. That is the exact price of Miska's gullibility. Now, Miska actually does some hard work for a change. He catches and sells some fresh red shrimp to a local tiger for 1,000 taka. But does that money stay in his pocket? No way, not even for a day. He literally bumps into a street scammer who promises him a VIP airplane ticket to Dubai in exchange for that exact amount of cash. Miska, dreaming of instant luxury, just hands over his hard-earned money without a second thought, all for a piece of paper promising a luxury flight that departs from an empty field. Which brings us to Section 3, Bizarre Desert Preparations, a comedy of errors. What follows is just an unbelievable display of gullibility as they try to prep for the Middle East. Let's look at this timeline. In week 1, Misadi literally dumps trucks of sand all over their home just to get used to the desert feel. Week 2, they start planting date trees everywhere. By week 3, and this is where it gets totally unhinged, they realize there are camels in Dubai. But since they don't have a camel, they jump on the back of a local cow to practice their camel riding skills, nearly breaking their legs in the process. And finally, week 4. Fully expecting to be draped in heavy Dubai gold, they start wearing thick iron chains around their necks to build muscle, so the future gold doesn't weigh them down. It is an absolute masterclass in delusional preparation. But as always, delusion eventually collides with reality. Their expectation was flying on a luxury airplane to a beautiful desert paradise. And get this, to afford all their future Dubai shopping, they literally sell their house. But the reality? They arrive in their ridiculous heavy chain outfits at an empty field, waiting for a quote-unquote bus plane that obviously doesn't exist. And to add insult to injury, the very scammer who sold them the ticket is dragged right past them in handcuffs by the police. So now their house is sold, their money is completely gone, and they are left standing there totally homeless. So, what did they actually learn after selling their house and losing absolutely everything? Take a wild guess. If you guess they learned a valuable lesson about the dangers of greed and taking shortcuts, you would be incredibly wrong. Welcome to Section 4, Arrival of Soybean Oil Baba, the next hustle. Because the answer is they learned absolutely nothing. Destitute and desperate, Miss K literally trips over a rock and meets a stranger claiming to be a mystic, introducing himself as Soybean Oil Baba. It's crazy how vulnerability makes us so susceptible to ridiculous manipulation, right? Here is the Baba's plan. Step 1, the couple must shelter the Baba and whatever is left of their living situation. Step 2, Miss K has to do the Baba's dirty work and act as a night thief, stealing heavy metals and gold from the villagers. And step 3, in return for these stolen goods, the Baba promises to magically manifest an endless pond of highly valuable soybean oil right inside their kitchen. It is a classic bait-and-switch heist, perfectly designed to prey on Miss K's endless desire for unearned wealth. But the Baba vastly underestimated Misk's sheer incompetence. On night 1, the target is heavy metal. Think brass or copper pots. Misk sneaks out, finds something incredibly heavy in the dark, and proudly brings back a literal bucket full of water. Then on night 2, the Baba is deeply frustrated and tells Misk to steal Sona Dana, which translates to gold and jewels. But Misk hears the word Dana, which literally means seeds, so he returns with a sack of wheat seeds. Misk's extremely literal thinking and complete lack of situational awareness actually foils the fake guru's master theft plan night after night. And that leads us to our final act, Section 5, the oil pond consequence, Karma Strikes Back. Realizing he has somehow hitched his wagon to the worst thief in history, the Baba tries to escape, but Shefa takes him hostage, fiercely demanding her promised oil pond. So, the Baba performs one last parting trick. He floods their kitchen floor with water, and then pours just a tiny, thin layer of real soybean oil right on top. Because of basic science, oil floats on water, the surface looks exactly like a massive pond of pure cooking oil. But in reality, it is 95% water and only 5% oil. As soon as the sun rises, the Baba makes his escape, leaving Shefa and Miss K staring in awe at what they genuinely believe is their ultimate ticket to riches. Now let's tie it all together. Because greed rarely only hurts the greedy, there's almost always collateral damage. Shifa immediately runs out and starts advertising her magical, cheap oil to the entire village. The neighbors buy it all up and take it home to deep fry their fish. But look, anyone who has ever cooked knows exactly what happens when you drop hot food into a boiling mixture of oil and water. It violently splatters. The fake oil instantly explodes in the villagers' kitchens, physically burning them. Realizing they've just been scammed with watered-down oil, the severely burned and furious villagers form an angry mob and literally chase Shifa and Misk right out of the village. Which leaves us with this final provocative thought. Unchecked greed turns the scammer into the scammed. Think about it. Shifa and Miske started out trying to cheat their own parents out of a hidden treasure. And because they were so utterly blinded by the desire for free wealth, they fell for a fake airplane ticket, sold their actual house, became criminals for a fake guru, and finally poisoned their own community, leading directly to their absolute downfall. It's a hilarious yet pretty harsh reminder that a life built on trying to cheat others will inevitably lead to your own absurd ruin. So it makes you wonder, what blind spots might your own desires be creating in your life? Thank you so much for joining me on this explainer.